Sometimes these awkward pauses just spring upon you serendipitously. Sometimes there's a confluence of different events that are occurring around you that lead to an awkward pause. And as I said, I worked in an emergency department, and some of you in the peanut gallery may know that. And this happened, probably 40 years ago in an emergency department. 3 elements. One was a colleague of mine who I will call Dr. Z. Names have been changed to protect the innocent. Dr. Z was brilliant. He was brilliant, but a little absent-minded at times. For example, one time he was standing there and said, "Do you guys smell something burning?" And we looked down at his pants where he had his pocket otoscope on and said, "Yeah, your pants are on fire." But he was also one of the most compassionate people that I'd ever met and worked with. He was very serious about taking care of patients and just a joy to work with. 2 other elements. In this emergency department, there was a workroom. That's where back then, no computers, we wrote our notes, we taught the residents. Our consultants would come down, and that's where they would talk with us, or we would, basically present our case to them about patients in the hospital. Now, I think emergency departments today are much busier. We had a little time to frolic a little bit. We had like a Nerf basketball hoop in there. And when we washed our hands, wad up the towels and shoot them. We had food in there. So it was a place for us to work and also to chill a little bit, which you need in an emergency department. There's also a room, the family room. And this is a very serious room because when somebody came in extremis, that's where the family would be ushered in. And we always had a patient representative that would meet with them. And the patient representatives were wonderful. They were like part social worker, translator, communication expert. So that's the setting for this. Dr. Z, I was working with him at the time, had an arrest that came in, a gentleman in cardiac arrest. And contrary to what you see on TV, most cardiac arrests that come in to the hospital don't survive. And that was the case with this patient. He didn't survive. So now Dr. Z has to go to the family, in the family room, and do the breaking of bad news. It's a very serious and difficult task for people that you don't know. So we're in our break room, and Dr. Z pops in and looks around, and he sees this can of peanuts, and he grabs it and heads out the room. And it's like the Bounty commercial, where there's a lottery ticket on the table and the water is spilled and it's rolling toward it. We're going, no. But he was gone. And in the room, and we know this from our patient representative, there's the general talk that you would start with, and then you have to break the news. And you say that we worked as hard as we could. We weren't able to save in this case, it was husband and father for a wife and a daughter. And your husband has died. And as I said, Dr. Z is somebody that really, really was passionate, wanted to console patients. So how can we help you? Can we make any phone calls for you? Can I get you something to drink? Oh, I've got this can of peanuts. Would you like some peanuts? Thwang! That's Don Martin sound effect from Mad Magazine, in case you don't know. Awkward pause. That was the can with the spring-loaded snake that shot up to the ceiling. So here on one side is a family that are, I'm sure, surprised, shocked, in disbelief. And on the other side is this gentleman who is also very surprised and I think very upset, dare I say, mortified, and a very awkward situation. So eventually things settle down, everything is explained, and the family is understanding, but it was the first time that I ever recall, and 12 years of working with Dr. Z, that I had ever seen him angry. And he was mad. And the other thing I will tell you is that that can of peanuts would never live to see the light of day again. And I also want to add, I did not bring that can of peanuts into the emergency department.